I've been noodling around on YouTube especially to kind of update myself on newest technology as far as amp modeling is concerned. When I stumbled upon this incredible new unit called the Quad Cortex by Neural DSP, which is a brand famous most of all to do awesome plugins like the Archetype series. But this recent improvement in digital amp modeling technology made me think about one thing. Can this more older unit like this one I have in my hands here, my trustworthy Digitech RP355, can still catch up with these new units? When this came out in 2010, which now makes more than a decade ago, this unit was really an improvement as far as MultiFX and amp modeling is concerned. Not only he has some pretty good heads and cabinet simulation, he also features more than 70 built-in effects, which to me still sounds very good, even if compared to the newest units, especially time-based effects like delay and reverbs. In fact, the unit was first developed in collaboration with Lexicon, so as you can imagine, all the reverbs built in are really awesome. Not only was that revolutionary as far as heads and cabinets models, but it also was the first unit, or as I recall, one of the first units to have the access to individual stump boxes within the same patch. Which is to say, you create a patch with a head simulation cabinet, an overdrive, a delay and the modulation effects, and you can individually engage or disengage overdrive, modulation and time-based effects. It also features a never seen before expression pedal. You can use it as a wah-wah or assign it to multiple parameters of any effect and control them real time. But is this still valuable and can this catch up if compared to the newest amp modeler units? Can you still use it to record or to gig it in a live situation? That's gonna find out. Even if this unit has long been discontinued by Digitech, you can still find on his website under the Digitech RP355 section all the downloads you need to operate this unit via your PC. You need to go on Digitech website, products, MultiFX, search in for Digitech RP355 because it has been discontinued long ago. And under the download section you can find all the things that you need to operate the unit via your PC. First things first, you need to download the driver, then the net updater, which is a more recent update of the driver, and the Xedit version for either Windows or Mac. The operating software is really basic, as you can see here. It basically gives you a layout of your pedal board in which you can engage or disengage all the parameters, as well as the entire library of effects, user and factory presets. As I mentioned before, even if this unit has long been discontinued, you can still go on Digitech website, on library section, to download all the patches you can find there, which have been created by other users, to upload them in your unit. This unit also features a built-in tuner you can access by pressing and holding the first two buttons, and also a looper section which you can access by pressing and holding the last two stumps, a built-in drums/metronome for you to practice or to go with some drum loops, balanced and unbalanced stereo outputs, an headphone output and aux in. And be very careful because all Digitech units only use their power supply. What you're gonna hear right now is the sound of my guitar. For the test I'm using my custom-made Frankentelli HSS guitar, just to hear what it sounds with different configuration of pickups like humbucker and single coils. And I'm recording this Digitech RP355 straight into Cubase with no post-production or effects whatsoever. Now I am operating this preset, I'm changing parameters directly through my pedal board, but you can still do that with the use of the software Xedit on your PC. that is the same. The first preset is called Satch and is clearly inspired by Joe Satriani's tone in the 80s. It's a pretty mid hard rock tones. Well, it sounds pretty good to me. This preset is made with a GCM 900 simulation, and as far as the cabinet is concerned, I chose a vintage 4x12 cabinet with Celestion V30 simulation. As you might expect, one of the main drawbacks of this unit, like all the older units, is the cabinet simulation section. I'm not saying that they all sound crap, because actually there are some 3 or 4 that sound really good to me, but if I were to use it in a live situation or to record, I'm gonna stick actually with those 3 or 4 models that sound really good. The other, I wouldn't recommend them. For example, here, for all the presets you're gonna hear, I am sticking with the vintage First 4x12 simulation, the Greenback 4x12 simulation, the Fender Deluxe 2x12 simulation, and Digitech vintage 4x12. Second preset is called Petruc, and I tried to recreate classic Petruc chorus delay clean tone. Well, as you're hearing, actually the modulation and time-based effects are really good on this unit. As I mentioned before, this unit was first developed in collaboration with Lexicon as far as all the reverbs are concerned. So the reverbs sound amazing, as well as the delays and the modulation effects. For example, you have an entire section with all different choruses, vibratos, flangers, phasers. They sound really good, and to me they are still usable in a live situation or in a recording environment. Next preset's aim is to recreate the sound of a jumbo acoustic guitar. Next preset I downloaded from the Digitech library, and it's called Brown, clearly inspired and aimed to recreate the Brown sound. This preset is made with an amplifier simulation, Digitech British, and a cabinet vintage 4x12. Maybe the bass frequencies are a little bit too flabby, but to me overall sounds good. As I said at the beginning, one of the coolest features to me of this unit, which is pretty good in a live situation especially, and which was miles ahead literally when it came out in 2010, is the chance that you have here to go through individual patches that you created or you downloaded and individually select engage or disengage for each patch its distortion, modulation or delay, which is still useful in a live situation to me. For example, you created a patch like this one. By simultaneously clicking to the last two buttons, you're gonna enter the stamp mode, in which you can individually disengage or engage distortion, modulation and delay. For example, here I put a math, distortion, pedal, simulation. You can disengage it and we will get back to the main channel. You can also disengage your modulation. Or the delay. This to me is very useful, especially in a live situation. And that should be mentioned that not all the modern entry-level up to mid-level amp modular units come up with this kind of trick you have here. So this is a great advantage of this unit still today. So let's move on with the preset. This is called Queen, and I made it with the Vox AC30 simulation. The next preset is called JTM and is a straightforward simulation of the Marshall JTM 45 60s mid-70s amplifier. I couple it with the cabinet, always 4x12 vintage simulation, which to me is one of the 4 or 5 cabinet simulations that sound really good to me. You can crank it up by adding, for example, a tube screamer in front of it. This is the head simulation without the distortion pedal in front of it. Crank up with a tube screamer TS9 simulation. Next preset is one of my favorites, in which I try to recreate Van Halen's first record Tone in 1978. do that, I picked up a JMP Lead Supermaster Marshall 70s head couple with a British 4x12 greenback speaker, a little bit of distortion in front of it just to crank it up. In particular, I chose a TS9 tube screamer with a lot of phaser. A delay, I chose an Plexi simulation and a plate reverb. To me, it still sounds really good. The next preset is called MkIIC and is clearly inspired by Mess Boogie Mark II Plus late 80s, early 90s chunky tone. If you also add some modulation and delay, you will definitely get close to get a Petruc's tone. In this next preset called Hendrx, I try to recreate, don't be too judgy with me, Hendrix tone, with a simulation of a 68 Plexi Marshall amplifier cranked all the way up with his matching cabinet. And of course, to get Jimmy's lead tone, I used a simulation of a big muff pedal. And if you want to get even more Jimi Hendrixes, you can add the Univibe. The next preset is called MES/MS, which aim is to have both on the same patch a Mess Boogie dual rectifier and a Marshall JCM 800 cranked all the way up in the same patch. Let's start with a Mesa. As you can hear, it's very difficult for this older unit to recreate the oversaturated tones like the Mesa or the PV5150. In my opinion, the Mesa dual rectifier simulation it's a little bit too flabby to me, especially in the bass frequencies. It doesn't quite get that Mesa tone. On the contrary, let's go to the other side of the patch, which is the Marshall JCM 800, which sounds really good to me. This sounds great to me. Honestly, I would use it in a live situation as my main rhythm distorted tone. The next patch is called FdTwin and is clearly aimed to recreate the classic 60s Fender vibe. Maybe we can sprinkle it up with a little bit of tremolo. Next preset is called Plexi and is based upon a Marshall JMP simulation cranked all the way up with its matching vintage 4x12 cabinet, a little bit of reverb. I wouldn't say that certain amp models sound better than the other, but certainly it recreates very well those clean and kind of crunchy amplifiers, while it has some serial problem when coming up to recreate that more distorted tones like Mesa Boogie or PV and so on. For example, the next patch is called SRV, inspired by Steve Ray Vaughan's legendary tone. Still in the clean territory. Another cool feature of this unit, which was really ahead at the time it came out, is the double functioning of the expression pedal. For example, you can either use it to control effects like the wah-wah or the whammy, for example, and use it at the same time to change real-time different parameters or whatever effect you have built in. For example, you made a straight patch with only delay, and as you can hear, I assigned the delay time to be controlled via the extraction pedal, so that I can go from slapback delays to more shimmery sounding delays. As you just heard, there are some things which are actually still pretty good in this unit, and other things that are no match for modern standards, but I won't be too judgy with this kind of old units, because to me they have still something to say, even today, 10 years after. If you agree with me that in this new magical era of digital marvels for guitar, this old unit can still play a role and be useful for guitar players, please let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for more content to come. See you next time. Bye!